Listen closely. Because this silence is not empty. It is heavy. It is sacred. And it is preparing something you cannot yet see. Right now you feel it. The quiet. The waiting. The unanswered prayers. The nights where heaven feels still. And you're asking, God, where are you? But what if this silence is not rejection? What if it's construction? What if behind every quiet moment, God is building something so big, so life-changing, that if He revealed it too soon, it would overwhelm your soul? You see, God does His deepest work in the dark, in the stillness, in the moments where you feel forgotten, because that's where faith is born. Not in noise, not in constant answers, but in trust. Raw, unshaken trust. Right now, you may feel delayed, but you are not denied. You may feel hidden, but you are being protected. Because what is coming is not small. It's not ordinary. It's not something you can control. It is divine. And divine things take time. God is aligning people you haven't met yet. Opening doors you cannot see yet. Removing things you don't understand yet. All in silence. All behind the scenes. And while you're waiting, He is shaping you, strengthening you, preparing your heart to carry the blessing. Because the truth is, if it came too early, you wouldn't be ready. And God loves you too much to give you something before you're prepared to sustain it. So the silence continues. Not because God left you, but because He is focusing on you. Closer than you think, working deeper than you feel. And one day, without warning, everything will shift. The silence will break. The doors will open. The answers will come rushing in. And you will look back at this quiet season and realize it was never empty. It was full of purpose, full of preparation, full of God. So don't run from the silence. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Because something big, something life-changing, something only God can do, is already on the way. And this silence is the sound of heaven preparing your miracle. Stay still. Even now. Especially now. Because the moment you feel like giving up is often the moment right before everything changes. Right now. You don't see movement. You don't hear answers. You don't feel direction. And it makes you wonder. Did I miss it? Did I lose it? Did God forget me? But no. This is the part no one talks about. The hidden chapter. The quiet chapter. The chapter where heaven is working, but earth is silent. Because God is not just preparing blessings. He is preparing you. Your mindset. Your patience. Your endurance. Your faith when there is nothing to hold on to. Because what is coming next will require a version of you that doesn't break under pressure. That doesn't panic in uncertainty. That doesn't walk away when things get heavy. So He allows the silence. Not to hurt you, but to build you. Not to confuse you, but to strengthen your spiritual vision. Right now, it feels like nothing is happening. But heaven is moving in ways you cannot trace. Conversations are happening about you. Opportunities are forming for you. Timing is being perfected around you. And every delay is actually protection. Because if it came too soon, it could fall apart just as fast. But when God releases it, it will be stable. It will be undeniable. It will be worth every silent night you endured. So breathe. Don't rush the process. Don't force what God is still forming. Because rushed blessings often become heavy burdens. And God is not giving you something temporary. He is preparing something lasting. Something that will not shake. Something that will not fade. Something that will remind you why He made you wait. So if today feels quiet, if tonight feels long, if your prayers feel unanswered, remember this: God is not absent. He is intentional. And His silence is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something greater than you imagined. So hold on just a little longer, because what is coming is closer than it has ever been. And when it arrives, you will understand why God stayed silent for so long. Don't lose your focus now. Not here. Not in this fragile moment. Because this is where many people turn back. This is where doubt gets loud. And faith feels distant. But this is where everything is about to turn. You've come too far. You've endured too much. You've cried too many nights just to quit in the middle of your miracle. Because what you called nothing happening, God calls everything aligning. What you see as emptiness, God sees as precision. Every second, every delay, every closed door is being used carefully, intentionally, perfectly. You may not understand the timing, but God is not late. He is exact. Never early. Never behind. Always right on time. And right now, He is protecting something so valuable that it cannot be rushed. Something so powerful that it cannot be released halfway. Because incomplete blessings bring complete frustration. So He waits. And in that waiting, He asks you to trust. Not your feelings, not your situation, but His promise. Even when it's quiet, even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're standing still. Because you're not stuck. You're being positioned, placed exactly where you need to be for what is about to happen. Think about it. What if this silence is actually the final stage? The last moment before breakthrough. The calm right before your life shifts forever. What if this is the moment? Heaven is finishing the details, adding the final touches, making sure everything is perfect. Just for you. So don't walk away now. Don't lose heart now. Don't let temporary silence make you forget an eternal promise. Because suddenly, without warning, without explanation, God will move. Doors will open. Answers will come. And everything that once confused you will finally make sense. You'll see why it had to take time. You'll see why certain things didn't work out. You'll see why the silence was necessary. Because it wasn't just about receiving. It was about becoming. Becoming stronger, wiser, deeper in faith. Ready. So stay ready. Stay expectant. Stay grounded in trust. Because this silence, it's not empty. It's full. Full of purpose. Full of preparation. Full of God. And what's coming next will be bigger than anything you've prayed for. This is the moment where you must decide. Will you trust the silence? Or will you run from it? Because not everyone survives this part. Not everyone has the faith to stay when nothing makes sense. But you. You were chosen for this. Not because you're perfect, but because God knew you would keep holding on. Even with trembling hands, even with tired faith, even with questions in your heart. And yes, it's been heavy. The waiting, the wondering, the quiet battles no one sees, the prayers you whispered, and the tears you hid. But every single moment has been seen by God. Every silent cry, every sleepless night, every second you refuse to give up. It all matters more than you realize. Because right now, you are standing on the edge of something new. Something that will not look like your past. Something that will break cycles. Something that will answer prayers you forgot you even prayed. And the silence, it's getting heavier. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is about to happen. Like the air before a storm. Like the stillness before the sunrise. This is not the end. This is the shift. You're closer than you think. Closer than you feel. Closer than your doubts are telling you. So don't listen to fear now. Don't let negativity steal this moment. Because fear speaks loud. But God moves in quiet power. And when He moves, it won't need explanation. It won't need validation. It will speak for itself. In ways no one can deny. So hold your position. Stay in faith. Stay in expectation. Because the same God who allowed the silence is the same God who is about to break it with something undeniable, something unstoppable, something that will change everything. And when it happens, you won't just celebrate the blessing. You will understand the silence. You will honor the waiting. You will see that God was never late. He was preparing a moment that could only arrive at the perfect time. So stand firm. Just a little longer. Because the silence is almost over. And what comes next will be worth it all. Now listen. This is where everything changes. This is where your story shifts. Not later. Not someday. But right here. In this very moment of silence. Because what you thought was the end was actually the final preparation. The last breath. Before God speaks. You've been waiting. Holding on. Fighting to keep your faith alive. When everything around you felt still. But heaven was never still. God was never silent without reason. He was watching. He was working. He was timing everything perfectly for this exact moment. And now, something is about to break. Not you, but the delay. Not your faith, but the barrier. Not your hope, but the silence itself. Because when God decides to move in your life, nothing can stop it. No person, no obstacle, no past mistake, no fear, nothing. And suddenly, doors you couldn't open will open effortlessly. Paths you couldn't see will become clear. Answers you waited for will arrive all at once. And it will feel fast, almost overwhelming. Because God doesn't just restore. He multiplies. He doesn't just answer. He exceeds. He doesn't just show up. He shows off His power in ways that leave no doubt that it was Him. Only Him. So don't regret the silence. Don't resent the waiting. Because without it, you wouldn't recognize the miracle. You wouldn't appreciate the breakthrough. You wouldn't understand just how far God has brought you. Look at you. Still standing. Still believing. Still here. That alone is proof that God has been with you the entire time. And now, as this season ends and the next begins, remember this feeling. Remember this quiet. Remember this moment. Because one day, you will tell someone else that the silence was not empty. It was holy. It was necessary. It was powerful. And it led you to a blessing you never saw coming. So get ready. Stay faithful. Stay expectant. Because God is no longer just preparing. He is about to reveal. And what He reveals will change everything forever. And now, you feel it. Something shifting. Something different in the air. Like the silence is no longer heavy, but charged. Alive. Ready to break. Because this is the moment where faith becomes sight. Where waiting turns into witnessing. Where everything God has been preparing begins to unfold. Right before the breakthrough, there is always a deeper stillness. A final pause. A sacred breath. And you are standing in it. Right now. Don't move. Don't doubt. Don't look back. Because what's in front of you is greater than anything behind you. This is not just another season. This is a turning point. A divine intersection. Where your past struggles meet your future blessings. And everything begins to make sense. Not all at once, but enough. Enough for your heart to recognize that God has been leading you. Every step, every delay, every silence was guiding you here to this exact moment where things begin to open. Slowly, beautifully, undeniably. And when it starts, you will feel peace first. Not chaos. Not confusion. But a deep, unexplainable peace. The kind that tells your spirit, this is it. This is what you prayed for. This is what God promised. And then, the evidence will follow. Doors opening. Opportunities aligning. People showing up. Everything falling into place. Not by accident, but by divine design. Because when God moves, He doesn't need to rush. He moves with certainty, with authority, with perfection. And you will stand there, in awe, realizing that every moment of silence was building toward this. Every tear, every doubt you fought through, every time you chose to believe, when it was hard, it all led here. So don't forget, when life becomes louder again, when blessings surround you, when prayers turn into reality, don't forget the silence. Don't forget who carried you through it. Don't forget the God who never left, even when He said nothing. Because the silence was never His absence. It was His strategy. And now, the strategy is complete. The season is shifting. The promise is revealing. And your life will never be the same again. So step forward with bold faith, with a grateful heart, with unshakable trust. Because what God has just begun, no one can stop. And what He is about to do will echo for the rest of your life. This is it. The moment you prayed for. The moment you almost gave up on. The moment that felt so far away is now standing right in front of you. And suddenly, you understand. Why it had to be silent. Why it had to take time. Why God didn't answer right away. Because if He had, you wouldn't be who you are now. You're stronger now. Wiser now. Deeper now. Your faith is no longer fragile. It is rooted, anchored, unshakable. And that's why you can carry what's coming. That's why the blessing won't break you. That's why the opportunity won't destroy you. Because you've been prepared. In silence. In hidden places. In moments no one else saw. Now look at how far you've come. The battles you survived. The pain you overcame. The nights you thought you wouldn't make it through. And yet, you're still here. Still believing. Still standing. That is not coincidence. That is God. Every step was guided. Every delay was designed. Every closed door was protection. Leading you to this exact place, where things finally make sense. And now, as the blessing unfolds, as the prayers are answered, as the doors swing open, don't rush past this moment. Pause. Breathe. Take it in. Because this is the evidence that God was working, even in silence. And yes, there will be new challenges. New levels bring new battles. But you are not the same person anymore. You are equipped now. You are ready now. You are covered now. So walk forward. Not in fear, but in confidence. Not in doubt, but in faith. Not questioning, but knowing that the same God who was with you in the silence will be with you in the success, in the overflow, in the next chapter of your life. And when people ask you, how did you make it? You will smile. And remember the quiet. You will remember the waiting. You will remember the silence. And you will say, God never left me. He was preparing me. So never fear the silence again. Never doubt it again. Because now you know. It is not empty. It is powerful. It is intentional. It is the place where God does His greatest work. And what He started in your life, He will finish. Completely. Perfectly. Faithfully. And now, you see it clearly. Not with your eyes, but with your spirit. Everything has changed. And yet, it all began in the silence. That quiet place. That lonely season. That space where you felt unseen, unheard, forgotten, was actually the foundation of everything you are standing in now. Because God doesn't build greatness in noise. He builds it in stillness, where there are no distractions, no applause, no shortcuts, just you and Him. And now you understand why He separated you, why He slowed things down, why He allowed the silence to stretch longer than you expected. Because He was removing what couldn't go with you and strengthening what had to stay. He was refining your heart, shaping your character, teaching you to depend on Him. Not the outcome, not the blessing, but Him alone. And that is the greatest miracle of all. Not just what He gives you, but who you become in the process. Now you don't chase validation. You don't fear delay. You don't crumble in uncertainty. Because you've been through the silence. And you survived it. You grew in it. You found God in it. So wherever life takes you next, remember this. When things get quiet again, and they will, Don't panic. Don't assume the worst. Don't think God has stopped working. Because silence is His signature. It's how He prepares. It's how He protects. It's how He positions you for something greater. So the next time you hear nothing, feel nothing, see nothing, smile. Because now you know something is happening. Something is shifting. Something is being prepared. Just like before. Only this time you won't be afraid. You'll be ready. Ready to trust. Ready to wait. Ready to receive. Because the same God who brought you through the silence will lead you into even greater glory, even deeper purpose, even stronger faith. And this journey, it doesn't end here. This is only the beginning of a life that walks with God. Not just in the noise, but in the silence. Forever.